Today's video is about optimizing existing content, and hopefully in that process I will come up with a blog post to write, and if I had the time, kind of go through co-schedule and creating posts and probably Facebook ads in the second video. So I want to work on a new series of content for web design, because web designers are my primary referral partner. I created a new series in WordPress using this plugin. You can find it if you go into the back end, go under Post Series. So web design SEO. I already optimized one blog post, and now I'm going to figure out what the next article in the series is going to be. So the primary keyword here is website. Who am I talking to? Business owners. And why should they care to get new customers? So your title should answer those three questions. The series is about web design, so I'm now going to search for more web design related content. You can do that by going site, Seattle, what the website that you want to search in the keyword. So this is going to be all the content on our website that ranks for website. And I might also do web design. I'll start with website. So that's the service page. I'll get back to that at a later stage. Basically, this might happen in a different phase where once we've created the series, once we've promoted the series, create a blog post or social media post for each of the blog posts, we'll see which ones perform the best and start to pepper in links to the service page in there whenever appropriate. So just going to open these up. Do I need a website? I'm pretty sure that's this one before I optimized, so I'll leave that one out. That's just an archive. An archive is a series of posts that are tagged with, that have a certain category. Those are the web design related posts. This is actually probably the second most important article. So I am going to change this one and put it as number 2 in the series. When it comes to websites, there's 2 things that are basically mandatory. 3 things, but the first 2 are just straight up penalties. Number 1 is the speed of your website. If it's not faster than 3 seconds, you can get penalized pretty heavily. A lot of this has to do with mobile traffic. So I've already looked at this article in the past. We can build upon it, and I might look into that a little bit more, but website speed is relatively competitive. If I go and look at the keywords for why your website needs to be fast, and then I'm going to batch analysis these and see which of them get the most traffic, you're going to see that it's a relatively competitive keyword phrase. Hobo. So remember that when you are doing a batch analysis and you have featured snippets, Google adds this I don't know what they call it, a modifier on the end of it, and for the featured snippets. That's you can see that what I search for, why your website needs to be fast, it's bolded there, and the keywords that are in that phrase are bolded in here. That's why they're doing it, but you have to delete that, otherwise it shows up as 0. Sometimes there's traffic to those themselves, but most of the time it gets in the way. So I'll delete those to see what they really get. And so it's kind of surprising. This one probably shows up number 1 just because it's got the exact title that I searched for. You can see if I scroll down, this one, and I already knew this has been the top article for quite a while. So if I look at that, I'll see that why your web's, and I misspelled it. The primary keyword for this article that gets the most traffic is probably not that search phrase. So page load speed. That is 1200 volume, way higher than the rest. I should probably optimize this article around that or create a follow-up article. But right now I'm going to focus on creating the series first. But the point here is page load speed, the keyword that has the highest volume, has an insanely high difficulty score. So probably not the best place to use a lot of my time, but with all SEO, the bare minimum is to have at least one page for any keyword that you want to get results for, a dedicated page. So even if it's highly competitive, you need to get your foot in the door. So I'm going to just add this to the series, make that my number 2, and move on. So 7 simple tips to get your website, to set your website apart from the competition. What are we talking about? Websites. Who are we talking to? Business. So there's no business in this title, and why should they care? To set your website to set you apart. That's incredibly vague. So this is not a good example. I really don't like these types of articles in general, especially for smaller players, smaller businesses, because this works for bigger players that have higher domain ranking scores. When you have a higher domain ranking score, you're naturally going to rank for any keyword on the page easier. So by having 7 different things in there, you're giving yourself an opportunity to rank for 7 different keywords because your starting point is higher. But in reality, for small business, for smaller players, you should have probably just 7 different articles in this case. Function over form. What does that mean? Non-functioning website. Broken links. Plugins. There's a lot of keywords in here that are just straight to the point. If it's okay to have function over form, but then it should be, fix broken links, or non-functioning website. That might actually be a good keyword. So I can search for that. Sometimes I will go straight to Keyword Explorer in here, but usually this is not a good way to start because what you may think is a good keyword doesn't show anything. Whereas if I go Google non-functioning keyword and I batch analysis, so you can see why I repeat this over and over and over again. I would consider it an almost essential step in your research. So that actually is not, so I'll delete the Google search, not trying to index Google. It'll just slow this scan up down. And really, I'm not interested in Scholar Google either. Those are going to be pointing you towards books, and the books require me to open the book up and read it. I can't really scan it, use my programs to narrow down, what I have to read. So I'll start there. This one jumps straight off the page to me. Doesn't have website in the URL though, so it might not even be about websites. So let's see. I'm going to search immediately for website. Okay, so it does have website in it. Scan over. So GDPR compliance rules. You can see they talk about speed almost immediately. But this is written for software engineers. You can tell over here the stuff that they're talking about. This is going to be very jargony.